Good evening, everyone. Merchant Ricky back, and today I'm talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo and how a perfectly executed manga sequel has made me fall in love with manga all over again. I hit a little bit of a stalemate just reading One Piece only for, I want to say, at least the last 2 years. I want to say I've only consumed One Piece as a serious manga medium, and everything else that I followed was taken from like Weeb Commander and, like watching Grand Line review videos or, New World review videos for Hunter x Hunter and, stuff like that. Just following YouTube content creators, looking at Instagram spoilers, but not really experiencing manga for myself. And then one day I saw a recommendation. You should read this the sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen. And I really liked Jujutsu Kaisen. I didn't really mind the ending. I was not really the biggest fan of Gojo, and I'm kind of a Sakuna Glazer myself, so it happens, That's why I'm holding this foam sheet art and craft that I made, Kamutoke. I was bored one day, and I was like, I really want a Kamutoke that I don't want to 3D print, because my 3D printer's in the closet, and I don't want to buy one, So this cost me like 6 cents when you think about it, how much it cost me to make this. Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, spoilers ahead if you haven't read it, okay? But we're only going to go for like the first 5 chapters. I'm going to try my hardest not to cover any events past that. The way this manga is set up, it gives you all your answers you want, kind of, I wouldn't say right away, but at least by the end of the first issue, you are feeling like you know a little bit more of the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen and how the world continued to evolve and deal with the rampant outbreak of cursed technique users and all that good stuff after the Culling Games. Because of this, 68 years later, the Gojo clan and the Zenin clan, they have, assimilated into each other via characters that I won't name. We follow 2 main characters named Yuka and Tsurugi, and they are expertly crafted characters. I mean, I really like the way Yuka, her charming attitude, the way that Akutami draws her hair. I mean, like, she's really a feminine girl. And considering in Jujutsu Kaisen, we got mainly strong feminine girls, not necessarily like womanly feminine girls, Yuka is definitely female forward feminine energy. And I really like seeing that. I loved the way he portrayed his strong women in Jujutsu Kaisen. But here in Modulo, I really like the way Yuka has this classic young girl look, even though they're so far ahead in the future. Then we have Tsurugi, who just reminds me of like little Ichigo plus Kagurabachi. Like, he's just a strong-ass mofo with a sword. Like, there's really nothing else to him, but he is a good character. I don't want to talk about him too much because there's a lot more characters to cover. I mean, we have Cross and Maru. They are twins from a certain civilization that has just made contact with Japan. I won't go into too much about that, but basically, by the first couple pages of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, you know that aliens have not necessarily invaded Earth, but via Japan have made contact with the planet. We know that they are called Sumerians, I think, and we meet a guy named Usami, who is kind of like I wouldn't say Gojo, but he is like the handler of the younger sorcerers, right? Jujutsu sorcerers. The thing about Usami that I really like about him is that he's very cool-headed and he's always thinking about ramifications and how things should be. One of the main talking points he notices immediately when we meet a member of the alien race who is kind of like their ambassador, his name's Jabloma. And like, the dude has a really great character design. I love it. Bald, kind of like a Buddha type figure. He just looks really cool. But he's introduced already knowing Japanese, and it really messes with the character Usami, who is basically just like, we're behind. How the hell do they know Japanese? We're at a disadvantage. And just that kind of line of thinking makes the manga a little bit more intense, a little bit more like someone's on your shoulder, like poking you and like making you feel the tension in the page by page. And I really like it. Another thing about Tsurugi is that he has heavenly restriction, like Maki and Toji. So, he's got like the really buff, strong, like, I don't have curse energy body, but I am a strong fighter and I use a curse tool. And that's cool. I like him. He's not my main favorite character. Then there's like multiple side characters introduced maybe one or two times in the manga. There's a guy named Osada who is literally just Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, who has the ability to put on a costume of an animal and get all the abilities of said costume. It's pretty awesome. He's introduced in a shark costume, just being a floating shark fully functioning outside of water in a forest. It's awesome. I think it's like issue 3 or 4. Genuinely one of my favorite issues of the 17 chapter run of Modulo. At this moment, it is at chapter 17 with chapter 18 spoilers currently out. I have not read them and I don't plan to talk about them, so, you know. But let me tell you, these first 17 chapters are really good. They make you want to just go in and not just read each panel, obviously, but you want to sit there and you want to take in the artwork. Sometimes reading manga can be a breeze, you know? You hit those 17, 19, 21 pages and you just blah, 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 blah. Oh, action, action, action. Speech bubble. I like this page. But you don't really absorb it, you know? Or you read all the speech bubbles and you don't really absorb the art. That's my problem. So Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo has helped me fall in love with manga again because I ended up liking the designs of Maru and Cross, Jabloma, and Yuka specifically. Yuka, the way he pays attention to Yuka's facials, her emotions, her expressions, the way her body stands, the way her dress flows in the wind, the way her hair moves when she's feeling emotions. Like, I really enjoy watching him draw her. And all in all, he's just got such a good art style that I think has evolved from JJK to Modulo that it really rewards you for following both mangas. I recently picked up the Jujutsu Kaisen character guide or whatever it's called. Like, it's just a factoid of all the characters and whatnot for seasons 1 and 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. It's curated by Akatami himself, and it even has a interview, I think, with Tite Kubo at the end, the mangaka Bleach. It's just really cool. It's got a lot of cool stuff, and it made me feel like he wasn't quite done with JJK, even though I don't know when this character thing was exactly written. I'll put it down in the bottom of the video. But when I picked it up, I picked it up by genuine surprise at Barnes & Noble when I went there the other day, like about a month ago, 2 months ago maybe. But it made me feel like he had so much information to share about this universe that he hasn't been able to put in JJK. So here we are in JJK Modulo, kind of getting drip fed little things here and there about curse energy, curse techniques, where it may come from, how it might have originated, who was the strongest sorcerer in history, how many people have tamed Mahoraga, just really cool stuff like that. But yeah, just to recap this video, essentially Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo has made me completely fall in love with manga again. To just stopping to stare at a panel for 5 whole minutes straight of Maru pouring water on a frog, or, you know, rereading fight panels because they're so fast and really chunky and just nice to just sit there and digest each, like, ping, 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 ping of, like, Tsurugi's sword swipes, or watching Yuka get her little biting claws ready. Like, the dude is good. The mangaka, Gege Akatami, is just very good with the way he presents this manga. And as a sequel, I find it to be very successful and maybe my favorite sequel of a manga to date. Anyways, I've been Merch Hunter Ricky. Thanks for watching the video. And if you have anything that you want to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen or Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo related, drop it down below. Relevant links in the description, and let me know what you guys think. Have a good night, everybody.